So the teaching of allow everything to be as it is just reverses the process. Because you can't win the war with your mind. You can't outsmart your mind because it's your mind outsmarting itself. That's not going to work. That's a contradiction. And when you see that you can't outsmart yourself, thinking can't outthink thinking, that it won't work that way. There's a tilt. You know, tilt, like a pinball goes on tilt and all of a sudden it doesn't work. When you see this clearly enough, there's sort of a tilt in your mind, and it just... The struggle stops because you perceive from your own experience that all the struggle actually just makes you more caught in the thing you're struggling against. So, even though it's completely counterintuitive, even though it goes against every instinct that we have, it's possible to come to see that the only way to get out of the dream state, the trap of egoic consciousness, is to allow it to be as it is, completely. Because as soon as you allow it to be as it is, as soon as it is allowed completely to be, and I mean at any moment, so it might as well be this moment, just to experiment, as soon as you allow this moment or any other moment to completely be, in other words, you don't try to solve the dilemma of being caught in it. It's very counterintuitive, right? As soon as you don't try to solve it and you completely allow it to be, then there's nothing for the mind to grasp onto. Right? There's nothing for the mind lives on resistance. Right? That's what it lives on. The egoic mind. I'm not talking about the intelligent mind that, does higher mathematics and figure things out at your job and all of that. Practical mind. We're not talking about practical mind. I'm talking about the other 95% of the time. Right? The other 95% of the time isn't really practical at all. It's quite chaotic. And so, when there's no effort to escape from it, you've denied the egoic state of consciousness the one thing it needs to remain in a trance state. It needs struggle. It must struggle. It has to struggle, otherwise consciousness will start to wake up or leave the trance state of egoic consciousness, all by itself. So in other words, consciousness doesn't need any help in waking up from egoic consciousness. You can't help it. Everything you do to help it actually hinders it. But only everything. Everything. That includes what you're doing. The one or two people out there that are thinking he's talking about everybody else, but not about me. You're the one I'm talking about. I want to talk to you. If you think you're excluded, right? Because if you think your mind is any different from anybody else's, you got another thing coming. Right? It may not come today, but it's coming. Yeah.